Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. It's Monday and you already know what time it is. In just a few moments, you'll get to hear my thoughts and feelings on episode 5 of Nekkid and Afraid of Love. But before I get started, let me just reiterate that this show is a train wreck, but it's somewhat entertaining to watch. So let's dive right in. The episode opens up on a raft carrying Jay, Britt, Nelson, and Bennett to the island to meet the bigger group. Now right off the bat, Stefan and Michael waste no time spotting Britt. And while Stefan is taking the time to plot how he wants to approach Britt, Michael swoops right in and asks Britt out. As the popular saying goes, you gotta be quicker than that, Stefan. Well, Britt follows Michael in for a one-on-one, and there appears to be some interesting chemistry between the two. In an interview, Britt opens up about how she appreciates Bennett, but how she likes Michael for how he's able to go after what he wants. Of course, none of that is sitting well with Bennett, who is in his feelings, but we'll get right back to that in a little bit. Jay's arrival at the island is seen as a good thing to Cassoulet. In her interview, she admits to missing Jay and learned that the grass really wasn't greener on the other side. But later on, Jay curves Cassoulet and immediately goes after Rachel, asking her out. Now, Rachel is a cute girl, but in my opinion, Cassoulet is by far the better catch, and Jay curving her for Rachel is pretty silly to say the least. So Cassoulet ultimately decides to confront Jay in a very nice and sweet way, wanting to know why he's been avoiding her since he's arrived at the island. Now Jay lies, and he says he wasn't avoiding her, but he misses her, which is messed up because he's giving Cassoulet false hope. Later on in the episode, Jay returns to his one-on-one time with Rachel, and during this time, the rest of the guys meet up to do some game planning. And for those of you who don't know what game planning is, it's a time in which a group of people, usually guys, meet up and pretty much talk about what girls they have a connection with and which girls are fair game. Pretty much a friendly gathering to lay down the ground rules of engagement. Well, Michael lays down his plan for Britt, and this is while encouraging the other guys to get Jay to continue running interference on Rachel so that her feelings will be spared. All of the guys seem to be on board with this plan, except Bennett. Bennett is still in his feelings and he doesn't have the courage to tell Michael how he feels about Britt. We start to see why Britt ghosted Bennett, and it's hard to feel sorry for him because he has 5 other women on the island that he could talk to, but I digress. Now on to Crystal and Candace. Throughout much of this episode, they are still on the island by themselves and they are fishing and developing some sort of bond. I mean, what else is there to do with another naked person in the middle of nowhere? While I see them as friends, I don't really see them as potential love interest. And to be honest, the scenes with the two of them are the most boring scenes in the episode, so they ultimately decide to sail off to the other island where everyone is staying. Back to the big group. At nighttime, everyone is sitting by the campfire, and Michael asks Britt to come to his shelter. Rachel sees this and is immediately pissed off. You can also tell that Bennett is angry about it, but he refuses to do anything but bottle up his anger. Once at the shelter, Michael and Britt begin getting closer together, literally. We see a scene of Britt placing her leg on Michael's meat bat as the two of them are cuddling. Rachel's emotions eventually get the best of her and she leaves the campfire to go to her shelter. This is when Jay excuses himself to check in on Rachel. And at this point, I have to question Jay's motivations, but we shall continue. The next morning, Michael asks Rachel if they could talk alone and Rachel agrees. And once they're alone, Michael is open and upfront about how he didn't have any romantic feelings for Rachel and how he was a bad communicator. This entire scene is pretty hard to watch because it brought Rachel to tears. But on the flip side, it's hard for me to feel sorry for Rachel because she got caught in her feelings for someone she's only been talking to for a few days. So in Rachel's time of sorrow, Jay takes it upon himself to invite Rachel out on a date. So if you know Jay by now, then you know that he plans these elaborate, well thought out dates for girls that catch strong feelings for him, which he ultimately ghosts for somebody better. Well, this elaborate date is Jungle Jay's meditation station, where Jay brings Rachel in for some meditation. While the date was unique, I have a strong feeling that Jay will break Rachel's heart and it will cause her to leave the island. Later on, Chelsea and Stefan are having their one-on-one time, and Barack interrupts them because he has nothing else going on. It was pretty shady in my opinion, and Stefan looked like he was having a wonderful time with Chelsea until he spots Candace and Crystal from a distance. Candace and Crystal arrive at the island, and Stefan, as well as Barack, immediately take interest in Crystal. Stefan takes a page out of Michael's playbook, and he tells Crystal that he wants to take out her date immediately, to which she replies that his request was pretty forward. Barack in his interview also expressed that he wants to take Crystal out as well. Stefan and Ariel have time to talk about their state of affairs, and Stefan makes it known to Ariel that he would like to take Crystal out on a date. Ariel seems a bit in her feelings, but she's very understanding and hints that she needs to keep her options open as well. There isn't much else to talk about this episode. I mean, Bennett bears his soul to Nelson about how he likes Britt and hints that he might leave if she doesn't come back to him. But even Nelson is thinking to himself that Bennett simply needs to man up. Britt and Michael go out on a date together, and Michael is doing everything in his power to make Britt forget about Bennett. Overall, if I have to give this episode a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a strong 5. Aside from Britt and Bennett's connection, I don't really see any of the other participants hooking up, let alone finding a mutual connection with one another. And if anything, I'm waiting to see who's going to leave the island next. So this marks the end of my video. Let me know what you thought about the episode or my review in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to reply. And until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.